When you're using Angel, it's important to make a distinction between the two kinds of assignments your students will be completing. Electronic assignments are added directly to the Lessons tab in the form of drop boxes, Turnitin drop boxes, discussion forums, and electronic assessments. These are items in which students can complete the actual assignment or to which students can upload the actual assignment. They are also items in which you can directly grade the actual assignment. The other kind of assignment is a non-electronic manual assignment. For those kinds of assignments, you don't add anything to lessons. There is no Dropbox, discussion forum, test to which students can submit the actual assignment. The only things you might add to lessons for those kinds of assignments are descriptions or instructions, but the actual assignment is not added to lessons. Some examples of those kinds of assignments are oral presentations, print tests, and assignments that students email to you or hand to you in person. You grade those assignments with a pen, a pencil, a Scantron machine, or a grading mechanism like Microsoft Word. They are not graded in Angel, they are not submitted to Angel, and they're not created in Angel. This distinction is very important because the way we make entries in Angel's Gradebook for electronic assignments is very different from the way we make entries for non-electronic assignments. This video will show you how to create entries in Angel's Gradebook for manual, non-electronic assignments that you create, students complete and submit, and you grade outside the Angel environment. Remember, for those kinds of assignments, we don't add anything to lessons except instructions or descriptions if you choose. To make the entries in the Gradebook, we go to the Manage tab, Gradebook, and before we continue, it's important to understand that in a percentage-based gradebook, you cannot make entries for non-electronic assignments unless you create their categories ahead of time. Let's click Categories, and you can see that I have already created the 4 categories that I'm going to need and that match my syllabus exactly. We return to the Gradebook, and to make entries for our non-electronic manual assignments, we click the Assignments hyperlink. The only time you click this Assignments hyperlink in the Gradebook to make entries for assignments is when the assignment is a non-electronic manual assignment. We add drop boxes, discussion forums, and assessments differently, and we'll talk about that later. To add our manual non-electronic assignments, we click the Assignments hyperlink, and the Assignments editor opens. Let's say that we have an oral presentation, a final exam that you will give in print form, and a poetry essay that you want your students to email to you. We click Add New. We'll add our first assignment, which is an oral presentation. Give it a title. Next to Category, choose one of the categories that you have already created. And remember, you must create your categories before you make entries for non-electronic manual assignments. Click our drop-down menu and we'll choose the Homework category. How many points is this oral presentation worth? Let's make it worth 100. Display format controls how Angel will display the grade for this oral presentation in Angel's Gradebook. I would leave it at the course default, which you configured when you configured Angel's Gradebook. Calculation type is critical. For a manual, non-electronic assignment, you must select Manual. If you choose another option, such as First Submission, number 1, this is illogical because students aren't submitting anything to Angel. Number 2, if you try to save these settings with a calculation type other than Manual, Angel will return this error to you. Calculation method is invalid. You must choose Manual for a non-electronic assignment. Let's choose Manual. If you want to control when students can see the grade for this oral presentation in Angel's Gradebook, you can use a release date. and the grade will display once that release date and time pass. You can also choose hidden, but if you choose hidden instead of release date, you'll have to remember to come back into the assignment editor for this oral presentation and deselect hidden so that students can see their grade. When you're finished with the settings for this assignment, click Save. And you now see your oral presentation in your assignments list. Let's add our next non-electronic assignment. Let's say that you have an essay that you want students to email to you. Give it a title. Let's put it in one of the categories that you have created. We'll put it in the essays category. Next to points, tell Angel how many points this essay is worth. Leave display format at the course default, and the calculation type again must be manual, and you can choose a release date or select hidden if you want to. When you're finished configuring this assignment, click Save. We now see the poetry essay in our assignments list. Let's add our last manual assignment. We'll click Add New. And let's say that you're giving a final exam in print form that you're going to grade with a Scantron or with a pen or a pencil. Give that final exam a title. Place it in one of the categories you have created. Let's place it in the final exam category. Tell Angel how many points it's worth. Display format is left at the course default. Calculation type must be manual, and you can choose a release date or hidden if you want. Click Save, and you now have your 3 non-electronic assignments in your assignment list. If we return to the Gradebook, Categories, and put a check mark next to any of these categories, we will see that assignment listed there. Put a check mark next to Homework, Show Tasks, View Assignments, and there's our oral presentation that we just entered. Go back to Categories. Let's click Essays, Show Tasks, View Assignments. There's the poetry essay. Back to Categories. Let's click Tests, Show Tasks, View Assignments. There are no assignments in tests because we haven't placed any assignments in that category yet. Back to Categories. If we click Final Exam, Show Tasks, View Assignments, there's our final exam. Let's return to the Gradebook. Click View All Grades so that we can look at our gradebook, and you can see each of the non-electronic manual assignments that we just added to the gradebook.